Life is a game of balance. If you don't go after what you want in life, you must be ready to accept whatever life throws at you. The decision to pursue balance sets you on a journey to finding the right pace to live your life. Much of the unhappiness that people experience in life is as a result of a lack of balance in one or more aspects of their lives. This book is a compilation of edited versions of some of the articles that I have published on social media. If you read the articles with an open but critical mind, you will be able to see why the pursuit of balance is a personal and never-ending journey that requires constant sacrifice. Many of the concepts shared in this book are products of my personal experiences and careful observation and analysis of the changes that have happened in the lives of people that I know personally and have read about. This book is divided into 3 parts. Each part is made up of a number of different short articles. This book was structured to be read in no particular sequence. As you read through this book, I pray you find simple answers to some of the complex questions you may have been struggling with or asking about life. The challenge of decision making is a reality that we all face every day. Every decision that we make comes with consequences, and when we make mistakes, we are taken further away from the level of balance that we desire in our lives. In the beginning, man disobeyed God and opened the door of his heart for evil to come in. There's a constant battle between good and evil in a man's mind. Whenever evil wins, man ends up making more mistakes and his life is taken out of balance again. In life, many challenges are brought upon us without our permission. Some challenges have the power to take our lives out of balance. Such challenges include death of a spouse, death of a child, death of a parent, death of a business, loss of investment, loss of job, sudden illness, and so on. Life is a series of challenges. We are constantly solving problems. Many of us are unhappy on our jobs because we are outside or far away from our comfort zones. We are trying to find fulfillment in the wrong line of work or business. To find meaning and fulfillment in life, we must keep trying to discover or get back into our comfort zones or areas of strength, as that's where true fulfillment is found. You may have to work in different companies, departments, or try different businesses before you find the one that brings you the level of fulfillment that you desire. The pursuit of balance is a never-ending journey. Chapter 1. Mistakes come with consequences. Learn your lessons. Everybody makes mistakes. Every mistake comes with both consequences and lessons. When you make mistakes, complaining or getting angry at yourself doesn't help, and neither will it take away the consequences. What you need to do is to learn the lessons and move on with your life. Sometimes the lessons that you need to learn from a particular mistake are so many that you need to make that same mistake several times before you can learn all the lessons. The way you know that you haven't learned all that you need to learn from a mistake is if you keep making that same mistake even when you thought you had learned the lesson. When this happens repeatedly, you need to look for the new lessons that you may have been missing. In the words of Henry Ford, the only real mistake is the one from which we learn nothing. Don't beat yourself up over the mistakes you have made or that you keep repeating. Just look for the lessons that you are supposed to learn, then make the necessary change. Chapter 1. Mistakes come with consequences. It's just a coincidence. Sometimes an event that seems like a coincidence is God telling you something, but sometimes it is not. Sometimes you just have to take it for what it is, a coincidence. Coincidence, wrongly interpreted as a message or revelation from God, could mislead you into marrying the wrong person, quitting your job without having a good exit plan, accepting an unfavorable job offer, getting into the wrong kind of business, holding on to an abusive relationship, and so on. The interpretation that you give to a coincidence is usually influenced by factors such as your current needs, desires, beliefs, priorities, and newly acquired information. Don't be misled by these factors. To some of you reading this book, this information may seem to be coming at the right time because there is a decision you are about to take, and you now believe that God may be trying to tell you something through me. Truth is, you may be right, but at the same time, you may also be wrong. Don't be in a hurry to take whatever decision you are about to take. You may need to do some more research. Misinterpreting coincidence is one of the mistakes that can take a person's life further away from the level of balance that he or she desires. Chapter 1. Mistakes come with consequences. The dark place. I know a place where you can lose touch of the present, sight of the future, and keep living in the past. This place is called regret. In this place, you will find your past mistakes and the wrong choices that you have made in life. I also call this place the dark place. This place called regret is a place carefully designed by the devil to prevent people from growing beyond your past mistakes. The longer you stay in this place, the further away you get from the level of balance that you desire in your life. Two things you can do to get out of the dark place anytime you find yourself there. 1. Listen to or read the stories of people who have also made lots of mistakes and wrong choices, but who are doing great things today. You will be inspired by such stories. 2. Ask God for the strength to move on. I usually find myself in this place a lot until I became a better listener, reader, thinker, and truth seeker. Many people allow themselves to suffer emotional pain longer than necessary because they fail to seek the truth about life. If you don't seek the truth about life by yourself, it may be hard for you to come out of this dark place. If you want to be able to find the right pace to live your life, you must be willing to seek and confront the truth about life. Chapter 1. Mistakes come with consequences. Don't take any risk without knowing your FAC. Do not take any kind of risk with or following the footsteps of someone whose FAC is far higher than yours. FAC is abbreviation for failure absorption capacity, the capacity one has to handle and recover from failure. If you can recover from failure faster and can handle failure better at a certain level than some other people, you have a higher FAC at that level than those people. Most people take risks that they are comfortable taking per time, even though they may not admit it. Before you partake in any risky activity, make sure you are also comfortable taking that risk. Don't let your ego blind you from your own weaknesses and shortcomings. If you are not comfortable taking that risk, don't. Different types of capacities are to be considered depending on the kind of risk when measuring your FAC. These capacities include your emotional capacity, intellectual capacity, financial capacity, spiritual capacity, and physical capacity. You would have to increase these capacities individually to increase your FAC. If you decide to take any risk with someone, find out what you stand to lose, not just what you stand to gain, so that you can make a wise and more informed decision. Chapter 1. Mistakes come with consequences. Your days of absolute ignorance are over. It doesn't take more than a few seconds of carelessness for a person to lose his or her life. And believe me, I have been careless for more than just a few seconds of my own life. There were evenings when I drank so much alcohol that the next day I couldn't remember how I drove my car back home. Sometimes I would leave the office as late as 9 p.m. for a 2 to 3 hours drive, so mentally drained that I would sleep off while driving. I even had an accident once when I fell asleep behind the wheels, but luckily the accident wasn't fatal. I have gambled with my life. I am alive today, not because of my carefulness, smartness, or bravery. I believe I'm alive today because God still wants me to be alive. if you are still living in absolute ignorance, you may be one of the reasons God kept me safe all those years when I was still living in absolute ignorance, knowing that someday I would be bold enough to share my story to inspire you to make the necessary lifestyle changes. If you are the person that I'm talking about, take this message seriously. You are not invisible. Trust me. It only takes a few seconds to lose one's life. Remember this always. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., nothing in the world is more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. Chapter 2. The battle between good and evil never ends. The powerful force behind the media. The media is today's tree of knowledge of good and evil. It carries the knowledge of good and evil and brings it to you, but unfortunately, it brings more of evil than good. Before I go on, let me drop this quote for us to ponder. It is in our biology to trust what we see with our eyes. This makes living in a carefully edited, overproduced, and photoshopped world very dangerous. Brené Brown. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate. And their eyes were opened, and they knew that they were naked. Genesis 3 verse 6 to 7. Be intentional about the type of information and the amount of information that you consume from the media. Yes, your eyes will be opened, just like Adam and Eve, but trust me, you won't like everything you see. You don't need to know everything that is happening around you. Some things are better left unknown, unseen, untouched, and unconsumed. Today, the media is so powerful and useful that you may not be able to stay away from it completely, but you can choose what you want to see, read, listen to, and watch. Choose wisely. Chapter 2. The battle between good and evil never ends. Selective Ignorance, SI. In the beginning, God introduced man to a concept that I call selective ignorance. This concept was supposed to protect man from himself. Genesis 2 verse 16. And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it you shall surely die. God could have removed the tree, but he didn't. Adam and Eve were supposed to ignore just one tree, but they didn't. And their disobedience opened the door for evil to come into the perfectly good world that God had created. The ability to apply selective ignorance in your day-to-day life is one of the most valuable skills you can ever develop. Many of the norms, customs, beliefs, ideologies, and even quotes that we are exposed to are powerful forces that make holes in our emotional and spiritual walls, making it easier for the devil to get access to our hearts. Selective ignorance can help block the holes. When you hold on to beliefs, customs, and theories that enslave you, you are helping to make more holes. You must learn to ignore some of the existing norms, beliefs, and theories if you really want to find the right pace to live your life. Chapter 2. The battle between good and evil never ends. Experience can change your perspective on life. There are certain life experiences that can weaken a man's willpower and make him do things he thought he would never do. Such experiences include divorce, betrayal, unintended pregnancy, impotency or barrenness, disability, loss of one's source of livelihood, sack, death, failure, etc. These types of experiences have the ability to change a man's philosophy of life and even his values. On the other hand, experiences like getting married, becoming a parent, starting a business, achieving success, becoming a leader, etc. are life experiences that may not weaken a man's willpower but can push man's life out of balance. When bad things happen to us in life, it leaves painful memories, and sometimes we hold on to these memories for too long, making it difficult for us to get close to the level of balance that we desire in our lives. It is never easy, and we may never be able to let go of some of such painful memories, but one thing we can do is to continually surround ourselves with people who can help us to create new, exciting, and positive memories. Having such memories take us closer to healthier levels of balance in our lives. May we never let the things we don't have or can't have spoil our enjoyment of the things we do have and can have. Richard Evans. Chapter 3. Challenges will come without your permission. Are you ready for the battle of realities? I've noticed that sometimes, while we are working hard to create our own realities, life just keeps serving us the realities she has already reserved for us. And some of her realities are not what we want or expect. And some of her realities are quite unpleasant as well. Some of us thought we were going to get married and live happily ever after, but today we are divorced. Some of us thought we were going to have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls, but today we have just 1 child. Some of us thought we were going to become successful office accountants, but today we are office assistants. I know from experience that sometimes life's own realities will win, but it doesn't mean that you have lost. You cannot lose if you keep trying to create your own realities, regardless of the unpleasant realities that life may have served you. Don't waste your time and energy complaining about the unpleasant realities that life has served you. Just focus on creating your own realities instead. As you try to create your own realities, you will be confronted with several challenges. When these challenges come, remember the words of Robert H. Schuller: problems are not stop signs, they are guidelines. Keep trying. Chapter 3. Challenges will come without your permission. The night will always return. We all go through challenges, tough times, and fall into unfavorable situations from time to time. This period in our lives is what I call the 9th time. You can't have a plan for everything. You can't be prepared for everything. You can't predict everything. Though it is true that the night will always pass, it is also true that the night will always return. It is only a matter of time. Don't feel guilty when you are in your daytime. That is, when things are working out well for you. Enjoy it for as long as it lasts. What I am saying in essence is that if you are healthy, enjoy it. If you are financially buoyant, enjoy it. If your siblings, parents, children are still with you, enjoy the relationship. If you've got a great job, enjoy it. If you found love, enjoy it and keep it alive. Don't complain, be negative or pessimistic when the times are good for you. Enjoy your good times to the fullest. You don't prepare for the night in the night. You prepare for the night during the day. If you are still in your night, now you know what to do with your day when it finally comes. The time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining. John F. Kennedy. Chapter 3. Challenges will come without your permission. If the place you are standing isn't good for you, move. It just stopped raining. She was standing on the side of the road close to a pothole that was filled with dirty rainwater. I was on the other side of the road walking to my office, but on seeing her standing there, I decided to slow down because I knew I was about to witness an interesting show. I was not wrong. Just as I was thinking this thought, the show began. A car was driven over the pothole and dirty rainwater was splashed on her. Guess what she did as the car drove away? She cursed the driver, but she did not move from there. In fact, while she was still cursing the driver, another car was driven over the same pothole and more dirty rainwater was splashed on her. Guess what? She kept on cursing and complaining, but she did not move. Some of us are not very different from this woman. We've been standing in the same place where life just keeps splashing dirty rainwater on us. We curse, we complain, but we do not move. If the place that you are standing is not good for you, stop cursing and complaining. Try this. Move. It takes just one splash to get some people to move. It takes some other people up to 10 splashes for them to move. How many splashes will it take for you to move? If you continue to curse and complain without moving, more dirty water will be splashed on you. Move. Or haven't you had enough? Part 2. The pursuit of balance is a personal journey. Today, there are so many people living fake lives. Some of the people whom you admire, celebrate, and whose strategies for pursuing balance you may be thinking of adopting may also be living fake lives. You will find many of such people on social media. Don't be fooled by such people. Don't be deceived by the fantasy of perfection that you see being displayed on social media. If you try to adopt the strategies which some of these people use in pursuing balance in their own lives, it may not work for you and may even take your own life out of balance. In our pursuit of balance, the decisions that we make in one aspect of our lives usually affect other aspects of our lives, sometimes positively, sometimes negatively. To ensure that your pursuit of balance affects every aspect of your life positively, whenever you get negative feedback, use it constructively. Stay in control of your beliefs and never stop searching for the right push. Do not also forget what the Bible says in the book of Mark 8 verse 36. What shall it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? In the end, each of us will give account of how we lived our lives individually. It will be all man for himself. Don't forget this. Chapter 4. True fulfillment is found in your comfort zone. Your comfort zone redefined. The term comfort zone has two major definitions. One of the definitions is negative, while the other definition is positive. Many people are only aware of the negative definition. 1. Comfort zone is the range of activities or situations that you feel happy and confident in. Source: Longman Dictionary. 2. Comfort zone is a settled method of working that requires little effort and yields only barely acceptable results. Source: Online Dictionary. If we decided to focus on definition 1, would it be true in some way to say that many people who are succeeding in business, entertainment, fashion, media, IT, sports, church ministry, etc. are succeeding because they are in their comfort zones? It is my belief that if your work is not fun, does not make you happy, and you don't even feel confident doing it, then you are not in your comfort zone. So when people say that you need to come out of your comfort zone to be successful, the reverse may actually be the case. What you need to do to become successful is to find and get into your comfort zone. If you were to evaluate your current job or business based on definition 1, can you say that you are in your comfort zone? Chapter 4. True fulfillment is found in your comfort zone. Don't leave your comfort zone. Expand it. Anyone who tells you that he or she doesn't like or desire comfort is lying to you. However, the level of comfort that each individual desires is not the same. When it comes to the subject of comfort zones, there are people who will be uncomfortable in your comfort zone. You will also feel uncomfortable in some other people's comfort zones. A person's comfort zone, for me, can be seen as the person's competitive advantage. Advising a person to get out of his or her comfort zone may not be a good advice. However, In a situation where one's comfort zone, that is, the range of activities that the person feels happy doing and confident in, is not getting the person to the level of comfort that he or she desires, then it makes sense to expand the comfort zone or create a new comfort zone. If your work is not in your comfort zone, you won't feel happy whenever you are going to or at work. When you learn a new skill that is totally outside your area of strength, to the extent that you become very confident and feel happy whenever you are using the skill, you have created or moved into a new comfort zone. If you've not, however, explored fully all the opportunities that are available within your own comfort zone, why move into somebody else's comfort zone to compete and struggle? Why put yourself at a disadvantage? Chapter 4. True fulfillment is found in your comfort zone. Find your own comfort zone. Comfort zone is defined as the range of activities or situations that you feel happy and confident in. Longman Dictionary. Take note of these words: range of activities, happiness, confidence. It is my belief that almost every child grows up to discover that there's a range of activities that he or she enjoys, feels naturally confident in, and derives happiness from. I also believe that many people moved away or were taken away from their comfort zones when they were still children. And many of these people who are now adults find themselves in jobs they are not fitted for. If you, however, enjoy your work and feel confident doing it, then you're probably in your own comfort zone. A friend of mine, Obi Bridget Walkocha, sent in the following comment after reading an article that I wrote about comfort zones. Many, to please parents, get into careers they are not happy in. I know a medical doctor that is into electrical stuff now. He's so wealthy and fulfilled because he loved playing with electrical gadgets as a kid until his dad made him read medicine. Now he's living his dreams and enjoying it. Please do not cause your kids into a life of frustration by making them do what you like or love. Chapter 5. Use negative feedback constructively. Don't let shame stop or limit you. Don't want to look stupid today, so you choose not to ask questions. You will look stupid tomorrow. Don't want to look stupid in the presence of people you know, so you don't ask them questions. You will eventually look stupid in the presence of strangers. Learn to make your mistakes when the risk is still low. Be intentional about the kinds of mistakes that you make. It is easier to recover from purpose-driven mistakes. I've made mistakes in my life. I am still paying the price for some of them. But one thing I have also learned on my life's journey is that no one ever graduates from the school of mistakes. Show me a person that claims to never make mistakes. I will show you a liar who has decided to play the role of God. Make your mistakes, learn your lessons, make the necessary changes, and move on. The more mistakes you make, the better the quality of choices that you will make in the future. Remember, everybody makes mistakes, even the most successful people. Don't let your past mistakes stop you from pursuing balance and going after the life you truly desire. Chapter 5. Use negative feedback constructively. Don't ignore the negative. Do you know that negative people are important to your success? Negative people can help you to identify the things you need to work on before attempting to do something. Some people get negative when they see you attempting something they failed at. They believe you will fail as well. Some other people get negative when they see you attempting something someone they know and respect has failed at. They believe if these people could not succeed, you will not succeed as well. Some people get negative when they see you attempting something they have failed at, because they have a feeling that you may succeed, and your success would invalidate the excuses that they gave for failing. There is, however, a group of people who get negative when they see you attempting something because they know you are not physically, emotionally, intellectually, or spiritually ready for the challenges that may come your way. It pays to listen to this group of negative people. You will make better choices. Don't be discouraged by negative feedback, however. From the feedback, you will discover the things that you still need to work on. Work on those things, then go ahead and attempt whatever you wanted to attempt. Never stop believing in yourself just because some people do not believe or stopped believing in you. Chapter 5. Use negative feedback constructively. What you thought was a mistake may be part of the plan. Sometimes the mistakes you make in life are part of a divine plan to put you on the right path, lead you to certain people, help you discover internal capacity to overcome certain addictions, make you push yourself to acquire the needed skills to prepare you for opportunities that would come your way. When it comes to making mistakes, the real mistake is not learning the lessons the mistake was meant to teach you. The only time there won't be a lesson to learn when a mistake is made is when the mistake leads to death. A dead man tells no tales. A dead man cannot learn any lesson. If you take some time to look at your business, relationships, career choices, etc., you will discover that every mistake that you made came with a lesson, which to some extent influenced your future decisions. As much as I believe that some of our mistakes may be part of a divine plan, I also believe that we must avoid every avoidable mistake. If you're going to make an avoidable mistake, you must have a good reason why. Chapter 6. Stay in control of your beliefs. Once you stop believing in yourself, you give up control. Once you begin to hate yourself for being dark-skinned, having small breasts, being short, etc., you begin to lose your self-belief. This low or lack of self-belief could consequently make you decide to bleach your skin, use padded bras, wear high heels, etc. And the sad part is that doing these things will only mask your lack of self-belief. Restoring your self-belief will require that you do more than just using enhancers, toning creams, high heel shoes, padded bras, etc. I have a friend who got so used to wearing hip pads that she began to feel unattractive whenever she wasn't wearing it. She lost her self-belief. I was also hooked on bleaching toning creams for 12 years, but today I am rocking my black face with pride. It wasn't easy to get unhooked though. We must learn to love ourselves first, the way we are. We must also become aware and confident of the value that we carry. When you carry value, your size, height, and even looks won't matter that much. You will always be attractive. You can stay attractive by constantly adding value to yourself. If you want to rebuild or restore your self-belief, change what you say to and about yourself. You may not be able to control what others say about you, but you can control what you say to and about yourself. What you say about yourself is a function of what you believe about yourself. What do you believe and accept as the truth about yourself? Chapter 6. Stay in control of your beliefs. Choose what and who you want to believe in. Your reality is not the only reality that exists. Your beliefs have the power to keep you trapped in or to free you from your current reality. Sometimes what we call a generational curse is nothing but the consequence of negative beliefs passed on from one generation to another. Your beliefs are so powerful that you cannot afford to let somebody else dictate what your beliefs should be, because whoever controls your beliefs controls your reality and ultimately your life. Not everyone who tries to get you to believe in something, no matter how honest these people may sound, is sincere. They may have ulterior motives. Francis Bacon says, "For what a man would like to be true, that he more readily believes." A man or woman who would like to be true, that someone else is responsible for all of his or her problems, would fall easily for false prophets. Because once the prophet starts saying things like, "I can see the person who is causing all your problems," this man or woman will be completely sold. When you choose to follow or believe in someone, do so with a guarded heart and mind. Chapter 6. Stay in control of your beliefs. Stop falling for general assumptions. Many of us use expressions like, "It can happen to anyone," to avoid taking responsibility for our mistakes. Your driver's license has expired, yet you still chose to drive the car on the highway. You got arrested by the road safety officers, and all you keep saying whenever people ask you why you made such a mistake is that it can happen to anyone. No, you're wrong. It cannot happen to anyone. It can only happen to people like you who take such unnecessary risks. Don't make general assumptions like most people do. Take responsibility for actions and mistakes. Don't be quick to take action on a piece of information that came from an authority figure. If the information doesn't feel or sound right, question it, research it, and do not agree with it just because somebody says you should. It doesn't matter who this somebody is, your pastor, parent, mentor, siblings, spouse, etc. There are certain things you may be doing today just because someone you respect feels or says it is right, but you know or have a feeling that it may be wrong. Listen to what your heart and conscience is saying and let your values guide you. When you act on information without doing your research, if the outcome of your action do not end up aligning with your values, it could lead to regret, the dark place. Chapter 6. Stay in control of your beliefs. Reinvent the wheel if you have to. Do not let anyone kill your dreams or your creativity by telling you not to reinvent the wheel. Innovation for me is a byproduct of reinventing the wheel. Many times we use and get used to certain expressions without even knowing the exact meaning of such expressions. According to the Longman Dictionary, to reinvent the wheel means to waste time trying to find a way to do something when someone else has already discovered the best way to do it. I had no problem with the definition until I got to the part that said the best way. With all the new discoveries and inventions that have been made in recent times, I find it hard to believe that there's anything like the best way to do anything. Anything that is said to be the best way remains that way until some crazy person who does not believe in the same, do not reinvent the wheel, discovers or develops a better way. When we see this better way, we call it disruptive. But the truth is, somebody decided to reinvent the wheel, and that was what brought about the disruption. The electric fan was the best way until someone invented air conditioning. Bicycle was the best way until someone invented the motorbike. Chapter 7. Never stop searching for the right push. Search for the 1% push that will set your giant free. Sometimes all you need to get unstuck is just a little push. Becky Uchechukwu David was 99% ready to set her giant free, but she felt stuck. What she needed at this point was just a 1% push, and I'm so honored that she was able to find this 1% push through my articles. Since her giant broke free, she has become unstoppable. Don't stop searching for your own 1% push. The giant in you may just be 1% push away from breaking free. You can find your 1% push in an article, in a book, in a story, in a video, in a sermon, and it can come through a friend, a family member, a teacher, a colleague, a customer, or even a total stranger. Chapter 7. Never stop searching for the right push. Don't stop running. Some people are running to lose weight. Some people are running to stay fit. Some people are running to stay alive. Some people are running to make a living. Some people are running to keep poverty away. Some people are running to avoid temptation. Some people are running to achieve their goals. Some people are running to stay ahead of the competition. You can slow down. You can change path. You can even join someone else to run, but don't stop running. If you stop running, life will run you over. You must, however, know why you are running and where you are running to, as this will influence all your choices. A bird decided to land on a weak tree branch. The bird was not scared of the branch breaking off. The bird had wings and could fly. A rabbit decided to join the bird on the weak tree branch. The weak branch broke off. The bird flew away, but the rabbit fell off the tree branch and died. Moral of the story: be careful who you decide to stand with, imitate, or model your life after. Face your own race. Join others when you need to, but don't forget to take your strengths and weaknesses into consideration. Chapter 7. Never stop searching for the right push. You may have to face that challenge on your own. When you have a big dream or goal, you will have to face certain challenges on your own. These challenges are an essential ingredient needed for your personal growth. The kind of growth that doesn't happen automatically through reading other people's stories or memorizing theories and principles from books. This kind of growth only comes from going through a process, a situation, or an experience by yourself. Just as a father cannot breathe for his son, or a mother endure pregnancy pain for her daughter, or a teacher read for his or her students, there are certain challenges others can't help you face. No matter how good a swimming coach is, he or she cannot help you hold your breath underwater. You must learn to do it yourself. Learning to hold your breath underwater improves your lung capacity and will make it easier for you to swim underwater without using a breathing apparatus. If you want to improve your lung capacity, you must go through this process by yourself. No one can do it for you. If you have a big dream, you will most likely need the help of other people to achieve it. But you must also remember that there are some things you just have to do yourself. Be prepared. Part 3. The pursuit of balance requires constant sacrifice. One of the conditions that could take a person's life out of balance is sickness. To avoid certain sicknesses, one must choose to follow good health practices. No relationship can grow or be sustained without sacrifice. In a marital relationship, sacrifice could mean dropping your spouse off at work every morning or traveling 4 hours every weekend to visit your spouse who resides in another state. When it comes to the issue of work and money, sometimes you may have to choose between working in a company that pays well but gives you no time for yourself, and a company that doesn't pay well but where you have more time for yourself. Sometimes running a business may work best for you. Any career path that you choose to follow will require some level of sacrifice. Raising children is one of the activities in life that will bring you great joy, but that could also cause you great pain. You may have to suppress your own desires in order to give the children the level of attention that they need and deserve. Sometimes we get stuck in life. To get unstuck, we may have to spend time and money to learn new skills and acquire new knowledge. This is called personal development. There are many aspects of our lives in which we would have to make sacrifices if we intend to find the right pace to live our lives. This chapter is a compilation of articles that relates to only 5 of these aspects of our lives: health, relationships, work and money matters, parenting, and self-development. Chapter 8. Health. All work and no rest can lead to permanent rest. Sometimes, while working hard to meet deadlines, pay our ever-rising bills, and achieve our personal goals, we forget to rest. We work all day and also late into the night and deprive ourselves of adequate sleep. Don't wait to experience personally the negative effects inadequate rest can have on your health before you take this subject of rest seriously. The bitter truth is, if you fall critically ill on your job and can no longer go to work or run your business, your job function will be taken over by someone else, and your customers will buy what they need from someone else. Don't expect your boss or employer to shut down business because of you. Be wise. No one should be more interested in your well-being than you. Mickey Mantle reportedly said, "If I had known I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself." If you've not been taking this subject of rest or your health seriously, please start from today so that you won't find yourself repeating Mickey Mantle's words some years from now. Here's what John Maxwell had to say in the book Make Today Count about living life at the right pace. Part of taking care of yourself includes finding and maintaining the pace that's right for you. If you take life more slowly than your energy level is capable of, you can become lazy. If you continually run at a pace faster than you are capable of, you can burn out. Chapter 8. Health. If you want to stay healthy, pain is inevitable. The guy who chose to start consuming lots of vegetables early in life to manage his blood sugar level has chosen to go through the pain of prevention, while the guy who ignores healthy living practices, which eventually made him diabetic, has chosen to go through the pain of treatment. Whether you choose prevention or treatment, there's pain involved. Adopting a healthy lifestyle is not always easy. As simple as drinking a glass of water every morning may seem, many of us still find it hard to do. If we cannot discipline ourselves to do the simple things like drinking a glass of water every morning, it may be a lot more difficult for us to do the more difficult things like exercising and dieting. Your health, to a large extent, is within your control, but if neglected long enough, will quickly slip away from your control. Choose to stay in control and remember to have fun in the process. In the words of John C. Maxwell, if you can laugh at yourself loudly and often, you will find it liberating. There's no better way to prevent stress from becoming distress. Chapter 8. Health. Use these words well to avoid unnecessary stress. The words yes and no are two powerful words. When you use them well, they can become your shield. When you use them poorly, they can become your doom. You need to know when to say yes and when to say no. You need to know how to say yes and how to say no. You need to know whom to say yes to and whom to say no to. You need to know what to say yes to and what to say no to. Many of the challenges some of us are dealing with today is because we said yes to a person, project, job or business opportunity, idea, marriage proposal, responsibility or relationship that we should have said no to. These challenges may have also been created because we said yes or no in the wrong way or at the wrong time. In the words of Brandon Francis, failure at a task may be the result of having tackled it or said yes to it at the wrong time. Using the words yes and no carelessly could cause bad stress, leading to mental, physical, and even sometimes spiritual breakdown. When it comes to avoiding stress, you have the right to be selfish. Do what you must to avoid or reduce bad stress. In the process of learning how to use your yeses and nos, you will have to make certain sacrifices that will cause some other people pain. Make the choice that is best for you. Chapter 9. Relationships. What living life out of balance could cost you. You spent the early years of your marriage working tirelessly to provide all the material things you thought your family needed. But you ended up losing your wife to another man and your kids to juvenile delinquency because what they needed from you the most during those years was your presence, but what you gave them were presents. Today, you feel so much pain because your family was your all, but you lost them. You have and can now provide all the material things that you thought they needed, but have now found out the hard way that all those things didn't mean as much to them as you thought it did. I know people who turned down good job offers, resigned from their jobs in order to have more time to spend with their families. You decide what relationships are important to you. If you had just 1 week to live, who would you spend it with? And what would you do with your time? Think about it for a minute. Who would you call to say, "I'm sorry, I love you, I forgive you, please forgive me, I appreciate you," or "God bless you"? Don't wait till you have just 1 week to live. Start making the calls from today. It's time to mend those broken relationships and friendships. Chapter 9. Relationships. The man, his mother, and his wife. I hear some people say, if most men could treat their wives the way they treat their mothers, they would have less conflict in their marriages. I don't think this assumption is totally true, because the expectations in both relationships are different. The expectations in a mother-son relationship are different from the expectations in a wife-husband relationship. If the mother meets the expectations of her son, the husband, as a mother, he is likely going to treat her well. If the wife doesn't meet the expectations of her husband, the son, as a wife, he is likely going to treat her badly. Relationships are built on expectations. When a person meets our expectations, we are usually good to them. But when they do not, the opposite is usually the case. When expectations is not being met, there's bound to be conflict. But let's not always assume, however, that the other person knows all we expect of them in the relationship. So when it comes to relationship and expectations, you must be very careful when making decisions. For example, the fact that someone is a good business partner, it doesn't mean that the person would make a good life partner. The expectations in both relationships are not the same. Protect your relationships by keeping the right boundaries and having the right expectations. Chapter 9. Relationships. The power of love. There's something magical about genuinely falling in love with someone else. When you fall in love, the number of heartbreaks that you have been through seem not to matter anymore. There's truly no better feeling than that of love. Don't listen to people who claim to be happy being alone. Many of such people are not being totally sincere with you or themselves. When some of such people appear in public places, they may seem happy, but what you don't see are the tears they shed at night. The nights they spend on their knees asking the God why me questions, and the deepest wishes of their hearts to have someone who they can share their deepest secrets, pains, fears, aspirations, and future with. They try to mask the pain, anger, sadness, and the fear of dying alone by always partying and socializing. So don't choose to harden your heart. You will be missing out on one of the most heavenly emotions, love. Love is indeed a sweet thing. When you find it, try not to lose it. Do everything within your power to keep the fire of love burning in your relationship or marriage. If you've been heartbroken before, choosing to love again could bring you great joy and reignite your desire for success. Chapter 10. Work and Money Matters. Why many well-paid employees will still end up broke. From my personal experience, observation and research, I have discovered that there are certain mistakes many well-paid employees make that could take their lives out of balance. When employees make these mistakes, they could end up broke after working for many years. These mistakes have remained the same over the years. These mistakes are avoidable. You must have heard some employees complain that the salary is never enough. True as this claim may seem, as long as they are already making these mistakes, the salary will never be enough, and they will still end up broke, even if the salary is increased. If you have been broke before, you will agree with me that it is not a funny position to be. If you've not experienced the pain of being broke, I urge you to take this information seriously. I've made some of these mistakes myself, and today I'm still facing some of the consequences. The 4 major mistakes that many well-paid employees make. 1. They do not save enough money in times of abundance. 2. They do not use their resources and privileges wisely in times of abundance. 3. They do not learn to sell any product or render any service in times of abundance. 4. They do not invest in personal development in times of abundance. Chapter 10. Work and Money Matters. There's nothing wrong with being an employee. There's nothing wrong with being an employee. It's just that many employees are on the wrong jobs, and that's why they hate their jobs. Starting a business is good, but it may not be the best solution for you. If you don't know the right business for you, you may get into the wrong business and still end up hating the business as well. Starting a business is no guarantee that you will enjoy time or financial freedom. It requires a lot of work and sacrifice. Some people who claim to be in business do not earn as much, enjoy as much time freedom, have as much impact on people's lives and the economy, control as many resources, or even feel as happy and fulfilled as some employees do. John Maxwell, in his book Make Today Count, said, one of the ways you can tell you're working in an area of strength is that it actually gives you energy. Even if you are in the early stages of your career or are starting out on a new venture and you are not very good at something you're doing, you can still tell it's an area of strength by paying attention to how you respond to your failures. Mistakes that challenge you show you areas of strength. Mistakes that threaten you show you areas of weakness. Many successful people started their journey to success as employees. They earned salaries, acquired skills, and built relationships on their jobs that was useful to them when they started building their own businesses. Chapter 10. Work and Money Matters. What you have is not small. You can be a blessing to someone where you currently are and with what you currently have. You can be a blessing to someone by giving material things such as money, electronics, food, clothes, etc., or intangible things such as advice, goodwill, connection, training, skills, referral, etc. Money is not the only gift you can give. Money is only a means of payment for products and services. There are times when you may not have the money to give. It doesn't mean that you don't have anything to give. you can give the things that the money would have been used for. Don't look down on what you have, no matter how small or insignificant you think it is. It may just be exactly what the other person needs. A few years ago, I met a lady whose desire was to own a travel agency, but she wanted to work as an apprentice in a travel agency first. I spoke to a banker friend of mine who knew the CEO of a travel agency. This lady was eventually given the opportunity to work as an apprentice in the travel agency. Today, she owns and runs her own small travel agency. You may not be able to help everybody, but you can certainly help somebody. Chapter 10. Work and money matters. You may be the problem. There are some professions, jobs, businesses that you are not designed or wired for, and your current unhappiness may be because you are in such a profession, job, or business. A fish trying to survive outside water won't find it easy at all, and may even die after a short time if it is not put back into water. You need to find your way back into the line of work that you are best fitted for. Life has a way of giving us feedback when we are living life out of balance. It's just that sometimes we are either too blind to recognize it, too ignorant to realize it, or too stubborn to accept it. What feedback has life been giving you? If every time you get to work, you become sad, that is a type of feedback. If you are fitted for the job, that is, you are designed and wired for it, but still feel sad when you get to work, then maybe your perspective towards the job is the real problem. If you flush out the stinking thoughts that you have given accommodation in your mind and allow positive and empowering thoughts to come in, your mindset will change and your attitude towards the job will equally change. You begin to think, see, and act differently. But if you've discovered that you are totally out of place in your workplace, then you need to move out of that place. But first of all, you need to have a concrete exit plan. Chapter 10. Work and money matters. Money problems could make your home grow cold. He was rich. He told you that you wouldn't have to work, and you thought to yourself, wow, this man must be God sent. My blessing has arrived. Your job was to stay at home, have kids, and take care of them, while enjoying a good life. So you thought. 5 years into the marriage, your husband lost his high-paying job, and the economy was no longer as favorable as it used to be. Now he is broke, and paying the bills is no longer as easy as it used to be. Unfortunately, you got carried away with the you don't have to work offer, that you didn't learn the art of making money. Though this story is not a real life story, but I believe it is happening and has happened in many families. Don't ever accept an option or offer that will make you fully dependent on someone else, a liability to someone else, or a perpetual receiver or beggar. Have or learn a way of making your own money. Develop a skill, learn a trade, get a degree, or just make sure that you stay employable. Work liberates. When you are financially empowered, some of the situations that would have been out of your control would be within your control. Chapter 10. Work and money matters. Don't start a new career without doing some research. After struggling in business for about 2 years with nothing to show for it but huge debts, an empty wallet, and low self-confidence, my friend knew it was time for him to stop deceiving himself and to tell himself the truth. He had failed. He decided to take a break from business. He also decided to do some research to find out the factors that were responsible for his failure. These were some of the discoveries that he made. 1. He started and was trying to build the business on a faulty foundation. He he lacked good understanding of how the business worked. 2. He allowed himself to lose focus and began to spend less time on income-generating activities. 3. He neglected his areas of strength and was wasting time and energy trying to work on his areas of weakness. 4. He lacked good understanding of the basics of marketing and was using marketing tools and strategies that were no longer effective in his business. If you are currently going through marketing-related challenges in your business, then you need to find the right business training to attend or get a business coach so that you don't end up like my friend. If you still believe in your business and in what you have to offer, then don't let your business die. Chapter 11. Parenting. Parenting is sacrifice. Many parents use their children as messengers to deliver false information, lies, and then wonder why their children also lie to them. It surprises me to see such parents wonder, as the child gets older, where he learned how to lie. Dear wondering parent, the child learned how to lie from you. Once you teach the child how to lie, he can choose to use it on you as well. There was a day I was almost punishing one of my little nephews for always hissing, even at his elders, whenever he was upset. But I realized at that moment that the child had picked up the bad habit from me. I remember I was in the dark place back then. I was always getting upset and I was always hissing. I didn't know that my little nephew was taking note of this bad habit. Just imagine, I was almost punishing the boy for doing what I was to blame for. I had to work on myself. I had to stop hissing. And about 2 weeks later, I noticed that my nephew had also stopped hissing. Be mindful of what you ask the kids that are under your care and influence to do or say on your behalf, and what you yourself do and say in the presence of these kids. Children have never been very good at listening to their elders, but they have never failed to imitate them. They must. They have no other models. James Baldwin. Chapter 11. Parenting. Every child has a divine competitive advantage. A man's true delight is to do the things he was made for. Marcus Aurelius. Try to use your children's lives to correct the mistakes you made in your own life by forcing them to become what you couldn't become would just be one of your greatest mistakes in life. When you pull a child away from his or her area of natural gifting and interest and push him or her into a crowded field, you've robbed that child of his or her divine competitive advantage, DCA. I believe every person has a divine competitive advantage. What they find easy to do or learn that other people struggle with or find difficult to do or learn. When you rob a child of his or her divine competitive advantage, the child would either have to work extremely hard to stand out in the crowded field that you pushed him or her into, or get lost in the crowd and never stand out. As a parent, you need to help your child discover his or her area of gifting and also help him or her grow in that area. Your child may not be wired for the same profession or career as you. Don't try to correct your career mistakes through your kids. And please, don't transfer your fears and limitations to your kids. Chapter 12. Personal development. Learn to push yourself before life pushes you. Many people waste their lives waiting for someone else to push them before they do what they know they would have to do to achieve their dreams and goals. What these people fail to realize is that the people they are waiting for are too busy trying to achieve their own dreams and take care of their own personal problems. There is one powerful force, however, that can push anyone into action. But trust me, you don't want to wait for this powerful force to push you before you take action. This powerful force is called life. When life pushes you, it doesn't care where you fall, how you fall, or if you would ever be able to get back up. it just pushes. You must learn to push yourself first. Pushing yourself before life pushes you is called personal development. Personal development, based on my own experience, is when you consciously and deliberately put yourself through mental or physical pain to prepare yourself for future challenges or to prevent yourself from going through the kind of pain people who do not push themselves go through when life pushes them. Personal development empowers you in a way that makes you more confident and less fearful about the future. Chapter 12. Personal Development. The undeniable power of Scripture. As a Christian, one Bible verse that brings me peace, keeps me going in tough and uncertain times, and melts away fear and worry from my heart is 1 Corinthians 10:13, and it reads, "No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind, and God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can endure it." Whenever I find myself in any situation that births fear and worry in my heart, one of these three things always happens. 1. I suddenly have the capacity to handle the situation. 2. God sends someone into my life, or I'll mysteriously reconnect with an old friend who has the wherewithal to take care of the problem for me. 3. The problem miraculously or mysteriously disappears or takes care of itself. We spend too much time worrying that we sometimes forget the many times that God has saved us. To stay strong, you must continually invest in your spiritual growth. The Bible is your greatest resource as a Christian. Reading the Bible regularly will empower you with the wisdom needed to handle certain situations that you thought were beyond your control or experience. Chapter 12. Personal Development. Is the situation really beyond your control or just beyond your knowledge? Many times, situations that seem to be beyond our control are not really beyond our control but beyond our knowledge. The fact that you don't know what to do in a particular situation doesn't mean that the situation is beyond your control. What it could mean, however, is that the situation is beyond your knowledge. All you may need to do in such situations is to acquire more knowledge. And yes, it could be that simple. Reading regularly, reading wide, and reading books with useful content could put within your control many situations that you thought were beyond your control. Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and in all you're getting, get understanding. Proverbs 4:7. How many books did you read? Experts did you consult with? Elders did you speak with? Videos did you watch? And how many times did you pray before you concluded that that situation was beyond your control? Never stop learning. Being ignorant is not so much a shame as being unwilling to learn. Benjamin Franklin. Final word. The greatest form of balance is found in God. Nothing can fill the God-shaped void in man's life but God Himself. But once life is seen from God's perspective, life takes on meaning and purpose, causing King Solomon to exclaim, "Eat, drink, rejoice, do good, live joyfully, fear God, keep His commandments." Skepticism and despair melt away when life is viewed as a daily gift from God. Source: the book of Ecclesiastes in the New King James Version of the Bible. You need to be conscious of your philosophy of life, because you cannot find the right pace to live your life if you do not have or develop a philosophy that you're going to live by. An individual's philosophy of life is greatly influenced by the individual's experiences and knowledge. And this is why we all cannot think and behave the same way or respond the same way to life's issues challenges, and opportunities. In your pursuit of balance, don't always let the things happening in other people's lives distract. We are all on different paths. What may seem like a mistake or tragedy in a person's life may become a blessing to the person tomorrow. Practice free and independent thinking. Ask deeper questions. The world is a library. Every person you meet is a book with many chapters. The better you get at asking questions, letting people talk about themselves, and listening attentively, the more chapters in people's books you are able to read and understand. Wilson Bonime.